You're talking about parents, and you're a parent now, and you've gone
Yes.
through the two conversations that are both very tough, is what I would say. You've got to go tell your parents that, hey, I don't conform to normal, what everybody considers normal. Right? Now you have to do the same thing to your child. Right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's interesting.
And the child has to like live through being in that, I mean, building a level of comfort around addressing the community, the society, and the way they perceive him because of the way they perceive you and your family and everything, right? Talk us through that, because
Yes.
that is just, I remember when we spoke last time, I was like, I would shudder to have the conversation. Is basically what I would say. Yeah, but please.
Sure. So going back to that pretty lovely story, once my dad knew that I was gay, right, lesbian, so it was time to come back to Mexico, right? And I had to confront my dad. Okay, so we went to a restaurant. We talked for, I'm telling you, probably 5 hours. I don't remember if the restaurant kicked us out or something, because there was just a long conversation to happen. I didn't want that conversation to happen at home, being honest. I was also as strategic on that.
Safety numbers.
Oh yeah. Let's just go to a place where this is going to end at a point, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we went through a lot of questions, this and that, and then he told me, okay, I'm gonna deal with this. I just don't want your little sister to know. And I'm like, fine, that's fair enough, right? I mean, it's okay. Because I knew at the end that if I was going to be myself, she was going to realize anyways, right?
Yeah.
It's just, but you decide that you want to have the conversation with her. I'm having the conversation with her. It's up to you. Okay. So after that, couple months later, Tammy is her name. So she told me, so no, you know what? I want to go to Mexico. And I'm like, fine. I mean, it sounds good. She's from Canada, right? Yeah. So she's like, I want to go to Mexico. And I'm like, okay, fine. So now I need to tell my dad, guess what? That person is coming. Yeah, she's coming. Dun, dun, dun. So, exactly, right? So it's like probably presenting your first relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, to your parents, right? Yeah. So nervous about that. And well, gladly they came along. They like really love each other. I lost my dad a couple of years ago, by the way. I also lost my dad. But I can definitely say that he did his best to understand what was going on. He was being more a dad in that way. It's like, okay, this is what I got, right? What can I make with this? And how am I gonna present to the new family, right? Because at the end and later on, Tammy and I decided to get married, right? And to confirm a family, going back to this first question that you said. And yeah, we just got married and everything was perfectly lovely and fine. And then the question around, are we having kids, came to place. And my wife was not really into it before she met me, being honest. I mean, she had another plan for her life, probably. But we kind of came to this situation where we were seeing other kids and with their families, and we're like, why not? We can probably make it. We could do it, right? We could do it. So one day in the highway, we just decided that yes, it was going to be a good moment for us to go through the process, right? And because of course it's a different process, right? It's not just like, oh, fun life. It's to go through a different process, but we decided to do that, and we knew that we were bringing a little person to the world, and that person was going to depend on us, and there was a little bit of fear on how were we going to tell him that, well, him, now we know he's him, that he has 2 months in a country, Mexico, where at that time was not as common, right?
Indeed. Yeah.
So it comes all these questions around like, when it comes the time to take him to the school, how are we going to approach that part? How are we going to show up, right? Like, yes, we are two proud mothers, or one is the aunt, right? And the other is the mother. So it's difficult. It's not easy. And then you go back to think on the safety of your kid. Because as an adult, you kind of learn to deal with uncomfortable questions. But then how are you going to prepare your kid? How we were going to prepare our kid to face all those things, right? So he's 7 years old now, and we are very, very proud of him and the way that we have walked him through all this. And we tell him that there are different families and that he's part of a different family, and all families are different, right? So we go from, you're going to find a family that is just mom, dad, or they just have puppies, right? Or cats, or just one kid. And we just open his mind not to, have just this idea of one type of family, right? And that all families are different, and that all families are okay to be, because it's a personal decision to have, right? So and as a parent, it has been challenging, but it has been pretty, I feel relieved that I can be open to my kid and tell him what are the things that he may face. Not just that, but also be open to his own curiosity. Because as an adult, I just don't want to put ideas on him that he probably doesn't even, because they're kids. They're so
innocent, right?
Innocent and open, and they don't question more, right? But totally the things that we as adults put on them, right? So
we have preconceived notions as adults as to what's right, what's wrong, all of that, right? And that's driven by everything around us, the situations, our circumstances, our media, whatever, right? The way we see and consume information. And we tend to like judge even before we speak to somebody, right? And it's literally how I see it. Kids don't have that, right? Anyway, I see. I mean, we've spoken about it. My son is 7, and he's like, he doesn't care who it is. He goes to a mall with me. He's like the social butterfly, right? He's saying hi to random people, and I'm like, dude, like, and I'm scared. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know who that person is, but you're having like this full blown conversation with this person, right? Which I love, right? It's almost opening up my mind onto how we've built walls in our heads, right? And where things fit. But no, I just wanted to give that context too, because for you as a parent now, and I totally appreciate you kind of opening up to this. But I hope people who listen to this understand that this is okay. Which is why I want them to hear your story. Is people can be different and still be successful. People can be different and speak differently and still be really good at what they do and be good parents and all of that, right? So don't put makeshift boxes in your head. Like, I hate the term think outside the box, but don't put a box is what I would say. Don't create boxes and put people in there is what I would say. But thank you so much for sharing that story too.